Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to convince you to pick up one of my favorite series of all time, and that is the Raven series by Pettersen. This is the Norwegian edition called Odin's Barn, but it is being released on the 23rd of March in English called The Odin's Child. I obviously don't have this copy yet, but I did get an early review copy from NetGalley and I have read it in English too, as well as Norwegian of course, so I reread it. I'm going to talk about it here. I'm going to convince you to read it because it's one of my faves. So basically it is based upon like northern mythology set in the North, Norway, a fantastical Norway, inspired by the North because it's not set in Norway, because it's set in a different world. It reminds me a bit of, for example, his Dark Materials, where it's like exists several worlds. So if you like his Dark Materials, then I implore you to pick this one up. This is the most best-selling Norwegian fantasy book written originally in Norwegian in Norway, and it's like super popular for Norwegian fantasy fans and other places in Europe because I know it's translated into other languages. So it's cool that it's finally coming into English, that it's now going to be available for so many more people. You watching, you know what to do. The story follows 15-year-old Hirka, because it's a YA fantasy, did I say that? And she finds out that she is a Odin's child, aka humans, because in this world everyone has a tail, but she has never had one. She thought when she was a baby that she lost it to the wolves, but it turns out that she never had one, and she's like, oh shit. This rite is coming up that happens every year at a certain time, where everyone goes to the rite to the capital, where they're gonna like test people for like powers-ish, and then they're gonna go to a school, but she can use these powers that has a name. It had an English translation, but my brain is like, what was it called? I know what's called in Norwegian, but I don't think it was called in English. This is clearly good work. Either way, we call them magic. I'm sorry. I will probably remember after this video and feel stupid, but it's okay. She can't do this magic because she's human, and then she's like, well, then I'm doomed then. Because they will notice that she's human, and humans are seen upon as like the rot. They're like rotten. If you're near them, you will rot. That's basically, yeah. So Hirka is the main character, and like that's all it says in the back, but I will give you a tiny bit more because I feel like that synopsis is like not enough, because we also follow another character called Rima, who is Hirka's childhood's best friend. He's 18-year-old and has been gone for the last 3 years, but is now coming back, and he's also the son of like one of the 12 council members. The council is under the seer, who is like the raven. They believe in him. Ravens are really like holy in this world. The 12 council members, which like supposedly anyone can get in the council, but it's literally been the same 12 families for like a billion years, not a billion years, like 1,000 years, so that's bad. And he's like the son of like one of the most prominent ones, or like I guess the grandson, because his parents died. You get the point. And his grandma really wants him to take up the mantle and continue being on the council, but he's like, I don't want that. So yeah, like the trope where like they try to disinherit their inheritance. I like that trope. I think it's done really well here. Reem is also my favorite character. I will talk about in a moment why, but like I love him to death. Just so you know. So basically it's like focused on like religion, what people really strongly believe in, because there's a reason for why like they look upon a raven. He protects them against the blind, which is like these creatures that kind of just attacks them a long time ago, and like they believe that the raven protects them from the blind, as they're called. Yeah, it's like the fear of like the different things. What's it called? Like stranger fear. There's a word for it, but like I can't remember the English word for it right now. My brain is tuned in Norwegian, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just so good and very complex. And as this is like kind of review, I have like a few things to mention about the first book since I just read it. In the middle of the book, Hirka changed her mind about like a certain thing that she was very determined about, and then she should just change her mind. And I still think that that was like weird, so that's flaw. I feel like also like the seer that they talk about a lot, they don't explain really well what he is. I didn't even get that he was a raven at first even. They just said the seer and I was like, what, who, what does he stand for? So like it takes a while for you to understand what he really is, and I think that could have been explained better. And the last thing is that there is a attempted rape scene in here, which was totally unnecessary, and I had totally forgotten that it was there. Like if you cut that scene, you could literally just be like, it would almost not make a difference. Like it could have just been another kind of violence. It didn't need to be like an attempted rape scene. So like trigger warnings for that. It was not in my taste, and I've forgotten those parts. But other than that, like the book is nearly perfect. It is Siri Pettersen's Siri. I don't know, like I turn English, but okay. Debuts in like long prose, I guess, so that you can tell that a bit. Her later books are much stronger. Yeah, I was gonna convince you to read this, and now I'm just like super negative. I'm sorry. I want to make clear that like I don't ignore things just because I call something my fave, I guess, because like everything is flawed, but I think the book is just so good, and it's also, you know, not a US or UK author, so it will be like something different a bit. And I do think also, though, sadly, that some of Siri Pettersen's, I think, traits in her writing does disappear a bit in translation. Now, I did read an ARC version, so like it might be edited up a bit in the final version, but she has like this sharp tone. I don't know how to describe it. It's very distinctive if you read it Norwegian and if you read other Norwegian books, but I do feel like that disappeared a bit in this translation, and I'm sad about it. But like, it's not like the story is not there, but like the distinctive writing that I was used to from her kind of disappeared in translation, and that was sad too. It is a trilogy, and I have also the second and third book, of course, and I read all of them. And the reason this is one of my favorite books of all time is actually because of the second book. I adore the first book. It's very good, but it's in the second book I really think Siri shines, and it's where everything that we learned and did in the first book is kind of turned around, and a lot of things just changes. A lot of things that we thought was a certain thing is put around on the head. And Rima in this one is where I fell in love with him. He is literally, I was gonna say, so intense, and the second book is still like one of my favorite books of all time. I like the first one. I love and adore the second one. So like that is like one of my favorites of all time. But like since it is in the series, the whole series becomes one of my faves of all time. Get it? Haha. Just so good. There's also like other kinds of like dark magic. The magic system is very interesting and fun, and it's very fun to discover like the different sides of it and what it can do. Just saying, that was like an added thing in the middle of my sentence, but okay. And then we also have the third book. I do think after the high of the second book, the third book did let me down a bit, but it's still like a very satisfying conclusion, and it gives a lot of answers to what we think is the thing in the first two books even, and then it again gives so much more context, and it is overall then a very good trilogy. And please pick it up. Like, can we also appreciate the covers? They are really cool, and that Siri herself designed them and drew them. That is amazing. I love it. Yeah, I even met the author because she's Norwegian, my one perk, and she's so cool. I don't know why I almost fell, but she's so cool and nice, and just please read them. I want all English fans now, since you have a chance to read this, so please. Also adding that she started a new trilogy, which is here, called Vardali, and this one is not following the same characters, but it is set in like one of the worlds that you could go to, and you can see like familiarities from these. And this one was so different, by the way, and you were very confused in the first 250 pages or something, and then it just made all sense, and I was literally screaming the whole way through the last 250 pages after the first confusing pages. It wasn't confusing as you didn't know what was happening, but you just didn't have the full picture, and when you got the full picture, mind blown. I had no idea what will happen in the next book, but I'm so excited. But yeah, this one also will be released in English, I think, after these, so like you can have the opportunity to pick this up. It's called The Iron Wolf in English. It was so good. It was released last year, and I can't wait for the sequel. So yeah, many goodies to come for you. I don't know like how to describe these books. If you love different worlds, if you love really cool main characters, very interesting magic, northern mythology, and just like, I don't know, crazy corrupt people and dark magic, and literally people having beaks, raven beaks inside their necks, and you want to know why, then please pick this up. Please. Okay, so it's being released the 23rd of March. You still have time to pre-order or order, and it's again one of my favorite series. I haven't even ordered the English copy, but like I have limited space right now, so I already own these, but I do really need an English copy, don't I? Because yeah, the cover is also the same. I like that. I like that they kept it. I feel like I could go on more and like deeper into like different things, but I will leave it at that because I feel like there's not much more to say. If I haven't convinced you by now, then I don't know what to do. Please pick up, again, one of my favorite series, and you will see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a raven emoji down below if you like this. Again, I think that's in another video. And you will see me soon in a new video. I already said that. I always do that. Bye.